Oh, it's a great honor. It's probably the crown and the jewel in my crown of career.
And this is a historic honor for my family. This is more than I could ever imagine.
It's a very big honor, and I'm very humbled by it, particularly looking at the other folks who have been inducted over the years.
Like Neil Shine and George Weeks and James Scripps.
It's nice to be recognized for 50 years of work in the industry.
I was born into it, so to speak. My father was a sports editor in a small town in western Illinois.
I got a scholarship to Oxford and did philosophy, politics, and economics. And as a result, I had no saleable skills. And I then ran a congressional office in Washington, and I had negative saleable skills. And when I came back to Michigan, I said, well, there's no other choice. I might as well be a newspaperman.
In the movies, all of the radio broadcasts, they always had a lot of fun. And I thought that's the life for me, having a lot of fun. But I gradually migrated towards journalism and news. And
I started out as a city desk reporter at a time when we were engaged in a very intense newspaper war with the Detroit Free Press, one of the last great newspaper wars in the country, and it was just fabulous fun.
The extreme highlights of my 30-year career in Michigan have been when the Oakland Press and the Traverse City Record-Eagle won their first ever Best Newspaper in the State award.
The bummery, where I lived for a week with the bums and drank with the bums, and the Skid Row people, that is.
And I contacted Jesse Jackson, and I said, I'm not pleased. I feel as though I'm a second-class citizen on the news set. I feel as though I should be able to do more than give you a brownie recipe or talk about the shows and the programming that's coming up tonight. I feel as though I'm an intelligent woman. I'm well-read. I can talk about the economy. I can talk about hard news. What do I do to change that mindset?
Time of the Detroit riot in 1967. I asked for volunteers to go down and put the paper out. I then went back to my apartment and I called Lloyd's of London, and I took out $1 million life insurance policy on each person who had volunteered. And I took a .357 Magnum that I had had in Washington and a box of shells and put it in my briefcase, and we went down into a burning city and put out the paper.
Free Press, I think, is very special. We tell strong stories. We tell stories that matter. I went to Iraq with a unit of Marines from Michigan and in bed with them for about 2 months and see how they lived, fought, and carried on in a very hostile environment.
I've had the great good fortune of working in one of the best news towns in America for almost 4 decades, and it's just been one story after another here.
I'm going to always work for the advancement of women. I'm going to always serve my community, and I will never stop until domestic violence is completely wiped out.
For somebody getting into journalism, just practice it. Start out at the small newspapers, the smaller stations.
Be passionate. If you don't really like the work, don't do it.
This is a commitment. This is an oath to the public.
Master the skills, master the craft, master the basic skills of reporting.
Never lose your interest in asking questions and finding out why things are happening.
I always like Winston Churchill's quote, never, ever give up.